Okay, I'm going to spare you the whole film. That is the whole film of the house this time. But it is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning here on Sunday. And I wanted to show you what this looks like. Okay, so here's the thing. This thing weighs 10 pounds. It's very heavy. Okay, so here's the book. That came with it. The book is very good. It does the whole history. See, this is the famous Brattle Theater. It's where it all started. The art house thing started. There. And I don't want to take too long because I know it gets boring. There. And then it just does every film. Never heard Miles for. I've never heard of it. Yeah. Excuse me. It has quite a few Japanese and Russian films, Soviet films. But it also has some British ones too, like The Third Man. Okay, so that's enough of that one. And then here are the films. I mean, it's a little ridiculous in a way, because how long would it take one to read this whole thing? Okay, so let me just show you how it goes together. And I think it was discontinued, so that's why it's hard to find. Yes, I'm sure it was discontinued. And I did something that I normally don't do. It is the price for the new packaged one with cellophane around it is about $800 now, $795 you can't even find it on Amazon. Okay, just so you don't think I'm neglecting the guys. There's Hanuman. There, and I've got my Tibetan bells and my garden stuff and all. I see this is I can never resist. I'm like a dog and having and heat. Now I hope this is there. So just leaving these out there until it's warm today. It's nice. There, okay, that's enough. So yes, let me confess. Anything else? This will bring. I can't see. What's wrong with me? I can't. This is a sloppy Sunday. It's not as quite as neat as it usually is. Yeah, let me just do this. Yeah. There. See, this is nice. It's really good. Really like it. I'm still working on how I'm going to organize it. See, I have my Shakespeare's down there. The altar. There. I'm going to eventually put lights on that tray. There. Okay, so the story with the unreality. The story here is that I've been kind of targeting this for a very long time now. I mean, something I've always wanted, because it kind of the whole notion of art house has roots into my very, very distant past, because there was a single really run-down art house place that was like forbidden for normal bourgeois kids. And I discovered it when I was about 15 or 16, and I used to sneak down there. Okay, so you imagine that story. Anyway, and they showed mostly the Janus films. At Berkeley, the Janus films were the big thing, and they were shown in really beat up art houses. art cinemas, and that was, that was something that was just so important to me. I used to see, let me think of the films, 2 or 3 films one always saw. The Ossessione films, I keep thinking, the title is Persona, some of the Fellini films. You saw like beat up posters of them all over, and the films just ran continuously. Okay, so I've been meaning to get something like the Janus series, just for a whole lot of reasons. Kind of like autobiography as much as anything else. But I kept putting it off. It's sort of expensive, and et cetera, stuff like that. Anyway, so then I realized about a year ago, this is when you and I started talking about it, I started inflicting the subject on you. Here we go. It was the same. I saw almost the same posters in Paris. And anyway, so then I realized that the series was no longer in production, and it was getting more, not less expensive. And I was really, when you and I talked about it about maybe 4 months ago, I was all set to buy it, and it was $800, $750, and I mean, I waste money pretty, nightmarishly, but that was a little beyond the pale. Anyway, so to get to my conclusion, I started to look for it on eBay, and it was, the cheapest, the original set, brand new, untouched set, was about $700. And that's, once again, as much as I wanted it, I didn't really want to pay that. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, I ran across one used with excellent condition. And so I wrote the guy, and I asked him about it. He said, well, he had taken really good care of the box, and he'd only watched 4 films. And I didn't ask him why he was selling it, and he said, so basically the whole thing is new. He said most of them have never even, 95% of them have never even been pulled from their envelope. And the 4 that he watched, he only watched once. And so anyway, it wasn't exactly cheap. It was, he was selling it for $350, and I offered him $275, and he said, well, what about $300? And so I just PayPal'd him the money for it, and so he sent it, and it's in really good condition. And in a way, I wish I had bought a new one, but and then again, it would have been another $450. So I'm glad I didn't do that. Okay, so this is a story. I know it's a little bit boring, but that's it. Have a happy Sunday.